What's up, everybody? It's Private Profits Trading, back with the 12 days of VWAP, value weighted average price, our holy grail, our bread and butter. VWAP definitely lets us know what side of the trade to be on. Right side of VWAP is the right side of life. So I just want to go over 12 personal commandments that I like to hold dear when I'm trading. And those 12 commandments have kept me safe. So let's start with number 12. All right, so everything in here is important. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but I felt the need to reiterate. So let's proceed. So, number 11, right side of VWAP is the right side of life. And it's been proven time and time again in real time inside my morning sessions where I trade live for nearly 2 hours each morning, that when you're on the right side of the 1 minute VWAP, you're on the right side of the trade, and thus the right side of life. Let's just take a look at this chart on Charge Point that happened this morning. Today is September 27th, 2022. So what do you see happen after the stock broke above the 1 minute VWAP blue line? Let's just take a look. So we'll look at the opening. Boom. So right here at the open, boom, we get a VWAP break to the upside at the open. As soon as it broke the VWAP to the upside, I was in. Let me show you a little closer. Boom, this is the 1 minute, 1 day chart. This blue line is the 1 minute the 1 minute VWAP. This orange line is the multi-day VWAP. So here we have the VWAP break to the upside, and these lines have already been drawn as points of significance in Charge Point from a prior trade. So this price action is always on the radar. But let's just go back. All right, so the VWAP break at the open. Now just notice, breaks the VWAP. That lets us know that we got more buyers than sellers. So the 1550 calls, weeklies expiring this week, got you up to 60% on this move. Well, I got at least 60% on this move. So I was in around 5, I'd say about right here, right before this line. Well, actually at this line. Because I was like, if we break this line, I'm sure I'll probably see this next line. So that's what happened. And we can notice when we break the VWAP here, we get a push to the downside. So since these lines are already here, I know where price action is subject to go. Price action comes here, bounces, breaks VWAP back up. Well, we got support here. So it bounces, support, then it bounces and breaks VWAP again. This is another opportunity to get in on Charge Point, the 1550s again. So breaks VWAP, breaks this point of significance, comes here but doesn't break below VWAP again. So that's showing me that the stock has strength and we're lifting back off. Lifting back off, lifting back off. Of course, we get some selling, break VWAP to the downside. We call this the VWAP shuffle, where it just shuffles along the VWAP, searching for fair market value, price discovery. And sellers take it from the blue line to the orange line, shuffles around the orange line, which is prior day's VWAP, mixed with today's VWAP, all the way. And buyers come back in and just repeat the process in this range. But what's most important about this is the fact that we broke VWAP here at the open, which to me was a buy. All right. Awesome. So let me find real quick. All right, so that is, and that's just one of hundreds of the real-time VWAP breaks we've witnessed in private profits. The good people in that room are a community, and they'll be the first to tell you. If you are on the right side of VWAP, you're doing something right. So, number 10, liquid and loving it. I trade 1 minute charts because I like to be liquid. I'm a lot of things, just not an investor. I'm a day trader, meaning I'm in and out quick. I don't hold anything overnight. I'm not looking for weeks or even days ahead. I'm trading exactly what I'm seeing in front of me at that moment. I'm trading the 1 minute and multi-day VWAPs. I like to be cash at the closing bell, though there are occasions where I'll break those rules, and they're rare. So if I do happen to hold anything overnight, I will not have a big capital commitment to it, but I just do not like holding things overnight. It's just one of those things. I don't like to expose myself to more risk. You know, it's risky enough to put a trade on and manage your risk, set expectations. And it's another thing to leave yourself out there to the whims of the unforeseen. So yeah, knowledge. Number 9, better to be late and right than early and wrong. I'm quick, often in and out of positions in a matter of minutes. But look, just because you miss one VWAP break doesn't mean you're doomed. It's better to be late and right than early and wrong, I always say. Plus, I'm keen to revisit trades that work. Number 8, analysts are not your friends. Not to be conceited, but I'm more savvy about stocks than most people. There's a reason for this, and it's not due to schooling or spending hours crunching numbers. It's actually much more simple than any of that. Most people read the news, and that's actually their problem. The people think the Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanleys out there are out to help them, and they could never be more wrong. Nobody knows more than the price of the stock, and that's all we trade. All right, we are the market. We aren't guessing in what's happening. We do what is happening. While others are reading the news and listening to Kramer on CNBC, I'm just letting the price tell me what to do. You think Kramer is your friend? What about the analysts who were short AMD just before it skyrocketed? CNBC, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs have an agenda, and it's not to help you. The big money players often use media scare tactics to entice you to sell so they can be on the bid and take your money. It's called a wealth transfer. The point, nobody knows anything, analysts included. Goldman Sachs said that 2020 would be the worst year in history. March 2020 was one of the best buying opportunities in the history of the market. The 1929 crash took 26 years to come back from, and the 1987 crash took 12 years to get back from. But March of 2020, just 3 weeks and it was off to the races. Thank you, Goldman Sachs. Never forget this. They are not trying to help you. The only truth in the market is price. And what is price? It's VWAP. So number 7, does this count? All right, I'm starting to think I got myself in too deep coming up with how many 12 of these? I don't know why. Number 6, never exit your entire position at one price. Whether winning or losing, I often exit my position in fifths and never at one price. Moving my stop as the shares move in my favor in order to lock in gains or avoid steep losses when and where I can. For instance, if I bought 1,000 shares of XYZ, I might take profits on 200 of those shares at the first benchmark, another 200 at the next target, and so on. However, I often let the last remainder of my shares ride. You could call this the screw it money. This last chunk of my position will usually either go parabolic or get stopped out. But it keeps me in the game and nimble. A key quality of successful day traders, of course, it's important to remember that trading is an individual sport and should be done based on your personal risk tolerance and comfort level. So what's good for the goose may not be good for the gander. But here are some key levels where I might set my targets and stops. First, I might set a target or stop at the pre-market highs. So let's take a look at the pre-market highs. Here we have a pre-market high. I want to and I get in the habit of marking these for future references. I also set targets and stops at the pre-market lows. We'll do this one. I'll also do this one. I also will set targets and stops at the 1 minute VWAP, of course, the multi-day VWAP, of course, here, 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 here. You see? So if we even look where we did the pre-market high and we come back over, look where its support is held at, the pre-market high. Interesting. All right. Previous highs, especially all-time highs, previous lows, especially all-time lows, whole numbers, example $11, or half numbers, example $11.50. I have spent hours in private profits trainings explaining why all of those levels are extremely important for VWAP traders, and I even plot them with my annual members during earnings season. Love earnings season, getting ready for earnings season next month. Can't wait to play Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Waiting. All right, number 5. It's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. Losing trades happen. All right, happens to everybody. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. I lost a lot of money when I first started trading before I discovered the magic of VWAP, and I went on a mission to prevent others from making the same mistakes. So one of the things I learned over the years, it's okay to be wrong, just don't stay wrong. Don't get caught holding a bag on a losing position. Hoping and praying things will turn around. Hope and faith don't belong in the VWAP trading game. All right? Also, keep in mind that nothing is a position. There is no obligation to trade every single day, all day long. In fact, the longer you stay at a casino, the more money you're bound to lose. And the same is true with the stock market. Don't like what you see that day? Don't trade. Easy. Number 4, beware the bucking Broncos at the opening bell. When you're day trading VWAP, timing is everything. When markets are particularly nuts, I often like to wait for the initial choppiness of the session to play out. I advise waiting out the first 15 minutes. I can't tell you how many times I done seen birds jump in at the opening bell only to get shook out in a matter of minutes. And remember, the harder and faster stock skyrockets, the harder and faster they can fall. Be careful out there. All right, never short stocks breaking back above the VWAP after an earnings report, because I'm looking for stocks with volume and the liquidity. And my favorite time of year is earnings season. Quarterly reports are often catalysts, highs, and lower for the underlying stock, so I can make a quick buck on familiar patterns around VWAP. One thing I've learned after years in the game is never short stocks breaking back above the VWAP after an earnings report. So if a stock gaps lower on a negative earnings reaction, but then it starts moving higher, watch out. If it breaks back above the 1 minute VWAP, I often call this pattern the check mark of the Lord or the dip and rip. Number 2, never buy stocks that gapped up when they're breaking back below the VWAP. On the other hand, if a stock gaps higher in pre-market trading, but then starts to retreat and break back below the VWAP, look out, because loss tend to become exacerbating. This is what I lovely refer to as a gapping crap. In that same vein, if it can't get above the blue line, the sellers are in control. When a stock tests and subsequently rejects at the 1 minute VWAP, you will sometimes see a quick and dirty sell-off. I call this the finger of God pattern, like we see in a bunch of stocks. You see it. The finger of God is rejecting at the 1 minute VWAP, and it just rolls over and dies. All right? So, last one of VWAP 12 things you should keep on your mind when trading around the VWAP. When there's nothing to do, QQQ. And as I said, I'm often trading stocks around earnings reports as these events are natural catalysts for volume spikes. However, earnings season happens only 4 times a year. So what do I do in the meantime? Well, if there's nothing to do, QQQ. Along with stalking the most volatile stocks of the day, because we all know earnings aren't the only volume triggers, especially these days. There's one name I keep coming back to, Invesco QQQ Trust Series 1. So I'm going to break down what QQQ is and why it should matter to you, as well as a couple different ways I might trade this ETF. In a nutshell, the QQQ is an exchange-traded fund that tracks the NASDAQ 100 index, NDX. So basically, it's a mutual fund of the top 100 stocks, but without a fund manager and associated fees. Not only that, but many of those 100 stocks are regularly on my watch list due to their volatility and liquidity, 2 key parameters to the ideal VWAP stock. So, trading QQQ allows me to speculate on some of the top stocks in the world and the most expensive, without having to fork over tons of cash to buy or short the shares outright. Stocks like Amazon and Google parent Alphabet priced at roughly $3,400 and $2,800 respectively. According to the Invesco site, the QQQ is the second most traded ETF in the US based on average daily volume traded as of September 30th, 2021. Additionally, it was rated the best performing large cap ETF growth fund out of 331, based on total return over the past 10 years. I mean, look at the 1-year QQQ chart. That is truly something else. Sure, they'll have significant pullbacks, but for the most part, the Qs has been stair-stepping higher for as long as I can remember. In fact, I've been trading Qs for a long time, even before I discovered the power of VWAP. But when I started adding the 1-minute and multi-day VWAP lines to the mix, it was a game changer, especially when I started noticing a particular. On the flip side, if QQQ is moving lower and the ProShares Ultra VIX Short-Term Futures ETF, UVXY, is sending up warning signals, I might consider playing a short position. But just know this, if you're going short on the Qs, don't stay short for long. That's all for now. But if you aren't already a part of Private Profits, you're missing out on these every day and so much more, including nearly 4 hours of daily training with my team of coaches. I hope to see you in the room with me in 2023, where I plan to continue slaughtering VWAP day trades left and right. In the meantime, happy trading. Make sure if you like this video, if it's going to help you at all, if you took notes, like it, subscribe, put the notifications on so you can get the new videos as they come out. And if we can help you in any way, email us at support@privateprofitstrading.com. We have the free Trade Like a Hedge Fund Manager mini course. We have a couple of webinars automated. We'd love to get on a strategy call to help your trading. Get a free 60 minutes with us to help you go over VWAP, average true range, volume profile, unusual option activity, institutional order flow. There's so many different strategies that we utilize when we're doing market research and data analysis. So any questions? Let us know in the comments.